introduce today's speaker. Our speaker, Jaylyn Williams-Boone, is a graduate of Carmen-Ainsworth High School and currently attends Michigan Tech University. In pursuit of a bachelor's degree in finance, as well as a master's of accounting, his hard work has afforded him high honors, university-wide awards, and tremendous opportunities. Just this year, he earned a spot on the Dean's List for the 5th time, in addition to being named the university's Outstanding Man in Business. This award recognizes the single student who best represents the values of the School of Business through academic excellence and involvement in the community. While he considers his accomplishments to be worthwhile, Jaylyn is most proud of his faith and the growth he has seen in himself throughout his college years. Humbled by a modest upbringing, he remains eager to reach the next level of excellence in search of unlocking his potential and encouraging others as well. In an effort to do just that, he has eagerly accepted the invitation to come before our graduates and deliver a message today. So without any delay, let us welcome Mr. Jaylyn Williams-Boone.
Trying to make me feel important. I've never had an introduction though. So, first and foremost, I would like to congratulate you all on graduating from your respective schools and grade levels. Despite what you may hear, to graduate high school is a privilege and an accomplishment. It's also a major milestone in your journey to a successful and fulfilled future. If you don't believe me, just ask some of the people who weren't fortunate enough to earn their high school diplomas at your age. Standing before the very tables I was seated at 3 years ago, as a college student going into my 4th year, I am amazed at how fast the time has gone. I remember picking out my outfit for the first day of school like it was yesterday. Some white Levi's, a red and white t-shirt, and some fresh red chucks. I was one of the best dressed at the time. I remember those midday assemblies that saved me from the boring lectures on U.S. history. And for some odd reason, no fault of my own, of course, because I was a great student, I remember in great detail the inside of my principal's office. I'm sorry, Mom, but there's a lot of stuff you don't know that happened. But, on a more serious note, of all the moments I can reflect on today, most of all I remember reluctantly listening to my mother lecture me about how I needed to make the most of the moments I was in because they wouldn't last forever. Now at the age of 21, I wish I could go back and slap my 18-year-old self to wake him up from the fantasy world where I knew everything and could be heard or taught nothing. Lucky for me, I'm not too old to start heeding that advice today. Not only that, but I am blessed to be able to stand before you and provide some advice that can help you avoid the obstacles that trip me up along the way. But because I know what it's like to be in your seat, waiting for the end of this ceremony so you can go open house hopping, I won't take a long time. However, there is something on my heart that I feel the need to share with you as you embark upon the next chapters of your life. And although this should be the typical college prep message where I tell you you can do anything you put your mind to and your life has just begun, I want to take a different approach to things because I see you all as family and not just a group of graduates. I see you as a group of people who have already experienced more in your 18 years than many people do by 30. I see you as products of Flint, Michigan, where graduating high school is not the only challenge we face. With that being said, I want you to understand and believe that our upbringing does not mean we are at a disadvantage or below those that we may encounter on our journey. I would actually agree or argue the opposite. See, being from Flint means that we know how to survive in the coldest of conditions, and I'm not talking about the weather. We are from Flint, so we know how to watch for the snakes in the grass when we are on the pathway to success. We are from Flint, so we know what it's like to put our own personal agendas aside to serve someone else we care about. So let's not get things twisted today, young people. We are not less than. We are more than enough. Flint has made us warriors, but with every battle comes its scars. So today I want to help you heal those wounds and give you the keys as a recent graduate in hopes to make the transition into the next phase of your life, wherever that may be, a little bit easier. The main thing I want to address today is the importance of self-esteem and self-worth when trying to build a successful future. Unfortunately, with the emergence of social media, we have immersed ourselves in this fictitious world of perfection, where everyone is eager to post their highlight tape but so reluctant to show the whole game film. They overshare the things they want people to associate their image with and hide the things that truly define them as a person. See, the trend is the very reason why so many people in our generation rely on the approval of others to fill the void where self-esteem once resided. As a result, we neglect to acknowledge our own positive attributes while we magnify the perceived success of others. Then we become depressed because we spend our time comparing their portrayed perfection to our exaggerated flaws. But in order to build a future of success and legacy, we must disconnect from the negative stigmas of social media and define within ourselves what it is that we want to do and who it is that we want to be, and be proud of that and own that, regardless of what the latest trend is or what others may think about it. See, as a young boy, I knew that I was favored. I knew I had something special, and I knew that everybody had. However, knowing all of these things and being fully aware, there came a point in my life when I began to question just how special this gift I had was. Because the fact of the matter was, the gift didn't get me many likes on social media. The gift wasn't getting me invited to the parties that I would see on my timeline. The gift couldn't afford the Gucci belt and red bottoms that flooded the hallways of my high school. So after a while, I found myself in this deep corner of depression, labeling my gift a curse. If anyone in here knows what I'm talking about or has ever felt this, I urge you to pay close attention to the next few moments as we work to overcome the constant need to keep up with society and instead instill an internal desire to outperform the person we were yesterday. Because the only way to truly feel accomplished is to go beyond what you thought that you were capable of. So what exactly is self-esteem? And how do we alter our self-esteem and use it to build a better future? Self-esteem is what you say to you about you. It is the story you tell yourself on a daily basis that eventually forms an opinion of yourself and your self-worth. Beyond that, self-esteem is the measure by which people use to treat you. In other words, rather than following the golden rule of treating people how you would like to be treated, people often treat you the way that they see you treat yourself. Think about it. The girl who everyone labels is probably the same girl who purposely does things to get attention. She dresses a certain way. Her posts are always over the line or right on. The group she chooses to associate with paints a picture of her, the person that she may be, and the way she speaks causes people to categorize her. Then when she hears what people call her, she becomes offended as if it isn't an accurate representation of who she is. But the people around her are just calling it the way they see it. I have to believe someone in here knows what I'm talking about. But in the same way, the girl who dresses cute but keeps it covered, the girl who isn't isolated but won't just let any guy approach her, is then respected to the point that when dudes do want to get with her, they have to know how to change their whole approach or not approach her at all. Although some people don't like her because she appears to act as if she's better than everyone else, the people who understand where she's coming from are typically the exact people she wants to be surrounded by anyway. Her self-esteem reflects onto the people who are around her, and as a result, she is treated differently. In the same way, I urge you to change the story you tell yourself about you. Stop saying that you're incapable of doing things and instead start saying, how can I get things done? Stop staring in the mirror searching for your flaws and start finding the beauty in your uniqueness. Expand your dreams beyond the confines of what you've been offered by the city you come from. You be your biggest fan, because if you don't encourage yourself, then no one else can. And oftentimes, it is the fear of judgment that causes us to lower our standards in order to fit into the crowd. But let me be the first to tell you, most people hate anything that is above them. So when people show anger towards others who are successful, it isn't the individual who is successful that they're mad at, but it is themselves. They are upset because they see someone who came from similar circumstances prevail despite the limitations that could have stopped them. However, because they are afraid to acknowledge themselves as the problem, they aim that frustration at you in the form of anger and abuse. You saw examples of this during the lunch table blaze sessions that I have to say I wasn't part of. If you ever really paid attention, though, you realize that the people doing the blazing were often the most popular people at school looking to maintain a reputation. You'd also notice that those being talked about and picked on were most often the people who didn't fit into the status quo of the group doing the blazing. It was someone who enjoyed class more than they enjoyed gym. It was someone who put their money into books rather than into looks. It was someone who was open about their intention to go to college on an academic scholarship rather than athletically. But something that I realized at the end of my senior year and into my first year of college was that the very people who we considered the most popular had not been very successful outside of that lunchroom. And the people who were once the butt of the joke became the head of the class. See, I discovered that popularity is not an indicator of future success, and decided that between the two, I'd rather be successful. See, when you realize that you are the only person you literally have to live with every single day you're on this earth, you will understand that no one's approval matters as much as your own. It is here that you become comfortable with dreaming big and reaching further than anyone else around you. So with that being said, let me save you some time. Because despite what you think, we don't have much of it. You see, we reside in this world of confinement, and although we're not of it, we still experience its limits, its pains, and its lessons. But the limits will be limited if we just stay abreast and embrace our blessings by taking the advice of those who have gone on before us. Although the lectures bore us and the language can be porous, the trials our elders face were to provide them with wisdom for us. Like the emotional bumps and bruises from the mistakes of their youth, when the ones they consider friends were the very ones who abused them. So because of the pain and misuse, they develop trust issues, and they urge you to be careful, hoping for better luck with you, to make the best decisions and have respect within. And although they had the best intentions, we neglect to listen. So as we walk, we bump our heads in the same place. Yeah, see, we fall into the same fate. So depleted and defeated, we repeat it at insane rates. But my hope is that on this day, you will heed the words of a fellow youth who has learned better in life and isn't afraid to tell the truth, to acknowledge the knowledge of what heaven has rather than what hell can do. So my brother, let me save you some time. Whether you bag a dime or you bagging dimes, understand you standing back to back with crime, so I urge you to keep a fixed gaze ahead. And although you feel as if there's a maze ahead, I got the blueprint. See, I'll give you the tools to succeed, but it's up to you to use it. You're not dumb, deaf, or stupid, nor ruthless. No, you have wisdom and influence. So I urge you to find yourself in God and not lose yourself in music. See, it is one thing to be entertained, but another to embrace the songs. Because whether it's a boat or a little yacht, he can't even take the storm. See, young brothers, we are strong, and we don't need guns to prove that. So if you want your future to be bright, you must take the mask off. Now, I know that you can do that. So instead of listening to take off the headphones and make a vow that you will stop checking for the plug and start searching for where your college at. We've been losing far too long, and it's sad we won't acknowledge that it's us that's killing us. But it's time we get our power back. That's right. Don't allow someone to deter your hopes and dreams. And I know this sounds like hocus pocus things when I tell you have the power to be outspoken kings when all you know is fiends. But I assure you it's true because I know this thing. See, when I wrote this thing, my soul just gleamed because I realized we were all born into generational curses. But today we broke them things. So understand, you are a prince, you are a prophet, you are a prodigy. You are working on today the man that you're about to be. And if you ever need someone to be your leader, then come follow me. Because today I've decided I'll never let the jaws of life swallow me. And I'll never let them swallow you. So if this is what I've got to do, then I'll be on y'all for the long haul. And my sisters know I got you too. All the things you hear about yourself on Instagram is not the truth. Your worth is something you're born with, not something that you got to prove. I want you to figure out who you are in Christ and not who society tells you to be. Because the truth of the matter is the very people who are influencing you have no idea who they are. So in an effort to make the playing field even, they tear down your self-esteem one stereotypical post at a time in hopes that you'll find yourself to be just lost and as miserable as they are. As much as I hate to say it, the role that my peers are playing is stronger than ever, and I wish I could explain it. But I just can't make it make sense, and if I could, the time it would take would exceed that of your patience. So I'll just state this. Young lady, you are a gift. There is no other way to say it. You are to be sought after as a wife and a queen, not someone for us to play with. You're not a booty call, and our attraction to you should not depend on that. But the true beauty of your being lies behind your layer of man. So rather than putting it on, I urge you to build your foundation in faith and stop concealing your flaws, because God says that no matter the season you're in, I shadow it all. And the stereotypes of society cannot define her, because with my purpose in my word, I line her with a promise, and my hope is that from this message, she will get this, that she will watch what she says, because the fruits of her lips stick. And there never should be concern with herself for the remarks of haters, because when she is rejected by man is when I'll illuminate her. See, she is beautiful inside and out, and I can't wait until she wakes up to see she is fearfully and wonderfully made. And this is something I just can't make her. So if you ever feel down, and you need to refresh your mind, think back on this day and let me save you some time. Thank you.